ESPN.
You're watching Dr. Pepper Championship Week.
Welcome to the SWAC Championship on ESPN2, presented by McDonald's as a part of Dr. Pepper Championship Week. And how about a wet and soggy Saturday from the capital city, Tallahassee, Florida, as the Rattlers of Florida A&M coming in at 10-1, hosting their first ever SWAC championship with Prairie View A&M out of the SWAC West in town. Now, Prairie View A&M at 6-2 overall in conference play, but they won that head-to-head matchup with Alcorn State, and that's how they made it to the championship game. Meanwhile, out of the East Division, Florida A&M going a perfect 8-0 in conference play as we say hello. What's up, fam? With the former Howard University and NFL quarterback Jay Walker, I'm Tiffany Green. Not ideal conditions to start this championship Saturday. However, both of these teams have to be pumped up and ready to play, trying to vie for a trip to the Cricket Celebration Bowl.
Absolutely, and that's worth $1 million to whichever institution makes it. But if you're Prairie View A&M, you want everything to go wrong today. You want to make this messy. Florida A&M has had a perfect smooth ride all season long. The conditions come into play. Bubba McDowell wants this to be an ugly contest so they can try and pull off the upset.
Well, back in late October, Prairie View A&M traveled to Bragg Memorial Stadium. Trayzon Connolly not having his best performance. How does he change his fate this time around?
Well, he's seen it once. So this fear defense, he's gone against it once, played probably his worst game. He can only play better. He's got what it takes to give them trouble. He's a run-first quarterback that can throw the football. Dual-threat quarterbacks give aggressive defenses nightmares.
The Dark Cloud defense is who he'll go up against, and the SWAC Defensive Player of the Year, bringing the thunder, is Isaiah Matron.
He's a real dude. You're talking about an NFL caliber linebacker that'll be playing on the next level. He chases down ball carriers from sideline to sideline, puts this defense into play. He needs to come up with 10 to 12 tackles today for this Rattler defense to strike.
Florida A&M with a 19-game home winning streak on the line. The SWAC Championship is about to kick off from Tallahassee when we return. Welcome back to Ken Riley Field at Bragg Memorial Stadium. The Florida A&M Rattlers, led by the SWAC Coach of the Year, Willie Simmons, running onto the field as they face off against Prairie View A&M for the second time in several weeks. Our third member of our team, Larisha Harris, down on the field to see what the Panthers can do to try to change things around this time.
Well, Tiff, this time around, head coach Bubba McDowell told me we made these mistakes before and we can't do it again. This time around, we have to be better communicators, be able to maintain that conversation, improve tacklers, and we also have to be able to just be better game managers overall. He said this time around, we also need to make sure that we are sound on our assignments, especially now with the rain in the mix. We have to have a quick start, and we also must make sure that our ground game is solid. Overall, we must stay true to Panther play. Tiff?
All right, thanks so much, Larisha. We look forward to your reports throughout the broadcast. Bubba McDowell in his second season as head coach of Prairie View A&M. Very familiar with the other gentleman on the sideline in Willie Simmons. We'll get into that a little bit later. 70 degrees at kickoff. Thunderstorms have moved throughout the area since late yesterday. They are expected to continue. Rain we will see on and off up until midnight. The marching 100 in the stands as Florida A&M, we mentioned, hosting their first ever SWAC championship game. Remember, they joined the conference back in 2021, and since then they've gone 22-2 in the conference, and they're led by head coach Willie Simmons. We mentioned the conference coach of the year, and there's the offensive player of the year in the Southwestern Athletic Conference in Jeremy Musa. Musa, who was predicted to win this award at the start of the year, has since delivered on what was expected.
And it really tells you how balanced this Florida A&M team is. He's the offensive player of the year. On the season, threw for 2,400 yards. Normally, you're going to be offensive player of the year. You're going to be the leading passer in conference. You're 3,500, almost 4,000 yards. Very balanced offensive attack. He throws the ball efficiently down the field, and they've got a group of running backs that's as talented as any in the country.
FAMU wins the coin toss. They deferred, and so Prairie View A&M will get the ball first as Michael Smith readies for the kickoff. Championship Saturday from Tallahassee is underway, and these wet conditions on the return. That's Marquise Doucette, and Doucette, who has a strong return out past the 25-yard line. Well, we featured Trayvon Connolly in the open, and when Bubba McDowell talked to us this week, he said, look, we must have a big game from Trayvon Connolly.
You know, and it sounds like a cliche because the quarterback must play well, but they really mean it. He cannot have a type performance he had when he faced this defense October 28th for Florida A&M's homecoming, and he's got the skills to do it. You know, he's a type of guy, when they talked about him, they said when he gets mad, then he can become very, very effective. He needs to be angry right now on the first snap.
First play from their 26-yard line. And play action out quickly and into the hands of Jaquan Bloomfield. And Bloomfield picks up a first down on that 16-yard pass and catch.
And see a little bit of confidence there in the pocket early. I know it's just one play, but when they played prior this season, they were nervous. You could tell they were nervous. Like the whole first half, they just got pushed around. I want to see if they can continue to stay aggressive in this first drive to establish that they're not going anywhere.
Handling the high snap, the handoff to the running back, and that's Caleb Johnson. Johnson with a solid run. Caleb Johnson, a guy who's very familiar with the SWAC, came over from Mississippi Valley State and wanted to be a part of this Panther program.
You know, people, you have your opinions about the transfer portal one way or the other. He's a great portal story. Kid goes to Mississippi Valley State, coaching change, they don't win at all, like the whole time he's down there, but he's one of the best running backs in the conference, gets an opportunity to transfer to Prairie View and compete for a championship. Congratulations to Caleb Johnson. I think that's a story of the transfer portal working for good.
On 2nd and 7, and Trayvon Connolly is on the run, being chased down and skirts out of bounds. And that's what Trayvon Connolly can do. He is a dual threat guy, so you always have to keep your eye on him.
Yeah, and I don't call him dual threat. He's a runner that can throw the ball. He's a run-first quarterback. So when he finds a running lane, he can attack. And you see the speed, able to get to the edge and outrun Allen Smith to pick up the first down. This is how you want him to play. You want him to feel loose and act like I'm going to be a weapon with my legs. And when you start to focus on me running the ball, I'm going to find a receiver I can pass to.
And Connolly once more out to pass. It's complete as they continue to eke further and further into Rattler territory. A 4-yard pickup for Trajan Spiller.
And they're looking like a different team. This is not the same Prairie View team as it shouldn't be. This is a championship game, but so far, Bubba McDowell's offense looking better on this drive than they look at all the previous matchup this season.
Excellent point there, Jay. And when you think about the way they've been able to come into this championship game on a 3-game winning streak, they're playing with great confidence right now. Man in motion, and Connolly zips it out, and it's intercepted into the hands of Javen Morgan, and Morgan with the interception. And just like that, as the Panthers were moving the ball, the Dark Cloud defense comes up with the takeaway.
And that's what a good defense is going to do. So this ball just a little bit high, wet conditions. So when it goes up, a great defense is going to take advantage when you make a mistake. And Morgan did a good job
after the interception,
playing safety.
Personal foul, blindside block, defense, number 92. This is a 15-yard penalty. Florida A&M, first down.
We talked about just how great the defense is. They'll be pushed back 15 yards after the penalty against Gentle Hunt. But when you look at the numbers and the rankings, yes, you see #1 in most statistical categories within the Southwestern Athletic Conference. You can also say that holds true when you move over to the FCS rankings as well.
And 11 interceptions on the season as well, make that 12 now. That came at a big time, and defense shows up. And it looked like they were getting pushed around, but they found a way to make a big play.
Here's Jeremy Musa, the two-time captain, as he transferred in from Vanderbilt in his second season running this offense for the Rattlers. As you mentioned, Jay, he's been a great asset to this team. And on first down, hands it off to Terrell Jennings, who has really taken over and found his stride this season.
I mean, great running back room there. Jennings, the best of the bunch, but we'll see 3 or 4 runners for them, and it's running back by committee, but Jennings has really stepped up and emerged as that guy that can give you a little bit of everything.
And Willie Simmons saying, hey, look, this is a guy who has taken control in that running back room. Now number 23 in orange, you see shifting of Duval County. Musa, play action and into the hands of one of his playmakers, Jamarie Shareed, one of the all-SWAC selections for this Rattler bunch.
And if you're Prairie View A&M, you live with that. Okay, they got the first down, but don't give up the explosive plays. In the first matchup, Florida A&M hit them with a number of explosive plays, 20 yards or more. Poor tackling. Tackling is going to be the key. That was a good job of tackling there on that wide receiver screen. But that's one of the things I'm looking for out of Prairie View. Can they tackle, particularly in these conditions?
That's what Larisha was pointing out earlier, what Bubba McDowell said earlier this week in our call. Musa surveying the field again, has a man, and Marcus Riley comes down with it. Marcus Riley tripped up at just about the 2-yard line, make it the 1. Marcus Riley showing the explosive play right there for the Rattler offense.
Absolutely, ran what we call a stutter go. 15-yard sprint off the line, hesitate for 2 steps, and Musa just has to let it fly. And we knew Prairie View A&M needed Freddie Bird to have a good game, but just like that, the explosive play hurts Prairie View in a big way, and the Rattlers capitalize.
Terrell Jennings punches it in from 1 yard out, and Marcus Riley set that up after that 60-yard completion, and Jennings finishing off the first drive for Florida A&M. Cameron Gillis on to attempt the extra point. And the championship defense leading to offense. You go back to that first possession of the game. Trayzon Connolly puts it in the hands of Javen Morgan off the carom. And then this explosive play to Marcus Riley, flexing the Florida speed, and the Rattlers strike first at home.
You're watching Dr. Pepper Championship Week.
Well, Marcus Riley, an impact transfer, second season. He's been selected to an all-SWAC honor second team. And this wide receiver, you may be familiar with him. The SWAC is certainly started his career and graduated from Bethune-Cookman and then got picked up by Florida A&M as he returns home here to Tallahassee. And the kick goes into the end zone. The touchback for more on Marcus Riley. Let's send it down to Larisha.
He is a local kid, and they are excited to have him back home. What he did well against Prairie View A&M the last time was exactly what we just saw, that explosiveness. He produces a ton of explosive plays. He finds ways to manufacture those, and we saw that again from that connection with Musa.
Absolutely. You think back to the start of the season in that Orange Classic. There you go, Orange Classic.
You know, we talked about Caleb Johnson, the good of the transfer portal sometimes. I'm going to say that the impact transfer player of the year is Marcus Riley. Him leaving Bethune-Cookman, joining Florida A&M, made this good wide receiver core a great wide receiver core.
Let's see, but Prairie View A&M does a second time around, and Sharif C gets to the quarterback. First sack of the game from the Rattler defense, loss of 8.
And we like the offense, but this Florida A&M defense is the real deal, and it all starts in the trenches. All 4 of these defensive linemen can get after the ball carrier, whether it's a running back or a quarterback. And you see right there, winning the one-on-one matchup, To me, when I look at Florida A&M, what makes this defense so good is their depth on the defensive line and how good, particularly their interior linemen are. When you talk about Stanley Mentor, James Ash, and General Hunt.
So now it's 2nd and 18 for the Panther offense. There was some movement up front from Prairie View A&M, and then I'll send it back 5 yards.
False start. Offense. Number 77. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Well, we saw him running out with his team to start this ball game, and Willie Simmons has to be pleased with the way this Rattler defense is starting off the game in his 6th year on the highest of 7 hills here. On 2nd down, the handoff, and Caleb Johnson doesn't have much room to run. A pickup of about 3 there. C back on the tackle.
And you see Coach Simmons, one of the most creative play callers as well, calls the plays on offense and has really matured as a coach, one of the hot coaching guys up there. Florida A&M's got a good one, and the success he's had here at Florida A&M has been great to watch.
And prior to coming to Florida A&M, he had success at Prairie View A&M, was their head coach before he took the head job here. On 3rd and long, and they just elect to run it off, getting to the original line of scrimmage, and solid run, a gain of about 12 for Caleb Johnson. That's going to bring up 4th down and likely the punting unit on for the Panthers.
Unfortunate running the ball uphill when it's 3rd and forever, but you can tell Johnson has a little explosiveness, makes a move on John Chaney in the hole. If they can get him some room and open space, he can be a guy that you can ride. Feed the football to him and see if he's able to get some tough yards running.
Efren Chasso, the sophomore out of Houston, back to punt it away. Prairie View A&M located just about an hour outside of H-Town. Handles the high snap, able to get it off in time. Jamarie Cherie signals for the fair catch. And the Rattlers will have
timeout.
Good field position when we come back here to Tallahassee.
The SWAC Championship on ESPNU is presented by McDonald's.
The likes of Otis Taylor out of Prairie View A&M. How about the Hall of Famer Ken Houston, Jim Kearney, as well as Super Bowl champion, and then Greg Coleman, the first African-American punter drafted to the NFL, Nate Newton, and the latest addition to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, Ken Riley, well-deserved, and is posthumously inducted into Canton, Ohio.
And you see right there, playing on Ken Riley Field. I think, get myself in trouble here, but to me, he's Mr. Rattler. I mean, played here and coached here. Make the argument for Jake Gaither, I'm sure he was the coach, but Riley did them both and represented this university well in the National Football League. Congratulations to the Riley family, as you said, on his long overdue induction to the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Well, Terrell Jennings with a nice hole up the middle and a solid gain for Jennings, as so far running the ball effectively, good enough for a 1st down. And Willie Simmons said, look, one of the keys to the game, you've got to be able to run the ball, especially in conditions like this.
Absolutely, and we talk about that backfield, and he's not even the big back. Jennings comes in 6'1", 225 pounds of load, but once they bring in Yant, he goes 235, and then they sprinkle in a little bit of Kelvin Dean. That's what we mean by a loaded backfield that can hurt you in so many ways.
Well, this Rattler football team not only protecting a home field streak, but also a 9-game winning streak as well. Jeremy Musa on 1st down, play action, going up the seam and overthrows Marcus Riley, and clearly you saw contact, and the official quickly threw out the laundry.
On the defensive standpoint, you say you give up a penalty before you give up a touchdown. And Marcus Riley was open for a touchdown.
We saw that explosive play for 60 yards to
Pass
set up the first score.
Defense, number 3. This is a 15-yard penalty. Automatic 1st down.
Bobby Wright, the official, and it's going to be a long afternoon potentially for Freddie Bird III.
And that's bad because they said they needed him to step up. We asked the defensive coordinator, hey, who needs to step up, play big? They say Freddie Bird, and twice we've seen Freddie Bird get picked on and taken advantage of.
So that spots the ball at the Rattler 32-yard line. TJ Lee making sure everyone's lined up, gets everybody in order. Jeremy Musa with time, looks, and complete to Kamari Young as we send it to the studio with a quick update.
All right, happy Championship Saturday as AT&T is keeping fans connected as we take a look at our multi-view. Plenty of games around the networks, including SMU Tulane American Conference Championship over on ABC. And then North Dakota State, Montana State. That's a good one, 21 all on ESPN+.
Tiffany Green, Jay Walker, Larisha Harris down on the field for this SWAC Championship game from Tallahassee. A trip to the Cricket Celebration Bowl in Atlanta later this month is on the line. The anticipation coming in, and Jennings running right up the gut, gets first down yardage and just a little bit more after that pickup of 6.
And Prairie View needs to make a stop right now. You and I, we talked a little bit. Florida A&M scored too easily on that first drive. Now they're driving the ball down there, and you just almost get the feeling if Florida A&M punches this ball to the end zone, these Rattler fans are going to start making plane reservations to Atlanta. They already think they're going. Now with this start here, I'd have to start agreeing with them. Prairie View has to step up and make a play.
Well, Florida A&M came in as preseason favorites out of the SWAC East. We mentioned a banner year in conference play, going 8-0. And the handoff to Marcus Riley. The speedster on the left side tries to shrug off a few tackles and is brought down at the 1-yard line. Gain of 19, and Travion Green kept him out of the end zone.
Creative play calling once again by Willie Simmons, but great execution by Marcus Riley, and poor tackling showed up again.
Quick snap out to Jamarie Shireen. He drops that one incomplete. That'll bring up 2nd and goal.
Let's take a look at this reverse, and you tell me, where should this play have ended? See, this is the key. He's trying to set it up. You see the big hole? You got to step up and make that tackle right there. But look how many more yards he gets afterwards to get closer to the end zone. The poor tackling continues for Prairie View A&M.
Rattlers come to the line, got their jumbo package in, and clearing the way for Terrell Jennings, who's stopped just short at the goal line.
You'll see Jennings here. We talked about him being a big back and not quite able to get across the end zone. But I think in that situation, you go ahead, you feed it to him again.
Tariq Mulmore coming up with the stop. And here on 3rd and goal, and Musa is able to sneak it in for the score. Touchdown, Rattlers. So Jeremy Musa out of Chino Hills, California, the unquestioned leader on offense for Florida A&M, puts up their 2nd score of the game and into the end zone on consecutive drives. FAMU 13-0 here as Cameron Gillis will come on to attempt the extra point. It's up and through, and a quick start for Florida A&M. More to come here from the capital city. Come back with us to Bragg Memorial Stadium. Tonight we have the ACC Championship between number 14 Louisville and 4th-ranked Florida State and Charlotte at 8 Eastern on ABC. FSU is 12-0, looking to advance to the college football playoff for the first time in 9 seasons. And boy, when you think about what Florida State and Florida A&M have done this season, making those comparisons, they have shown their dominance, and this could be Championship City and Central here in Tallahassee at the end of the night. Prairie View A&M, Marquise Doucette on the return of the kickoff, and all on that right side, 35-yard line. Doucette still going and finally brought down around the 40.
You know, and every time I come to Tallahassee, I'm always kind of like, these schools get closer and closer together. Before I thought they were like different parts of town, but you know, they're really close as you take a look at this great return by Doucette. His second time making some guys miss and showing some flash there. He's coming to play. Let's see if that can spark the offense.
Add one more to that jersey, and it's a 39-yard return for Doucette.
How far would you say these campuses are separated by?
They usually say the railroad track.
Yeah,
I mean,
maybe a
it's
block,
really
2
close.
blocks, maybe.
Yeah, potentially, yeah. Ahmad Antoine in the backfield checking in for the first time. He takes the handoff and brought down by Alan Smith Jr. A pickup of 7 for Antoine, the 5th-year senior out of New Orleans.
And anytime you can run the ball against Florida A&M, that's a plus. We don't see a lot of teams running the football on them. They only give up 87 yards a game rushing, one of the tops in the country. So if you can get some added yards running the football with a running back, take advantage of it.
Here on 2nd and 3, David Murray in motion, moves to that left side and trying to create a little space for Ahmad Antoine, who once again is tackled by Alan Smith Jr. really close to the marker, and I think they're going to give him a first down.
And that's a good run. You know, we talked about it. Florida A&M makes you work for every inch in between the tackles. It all starts with those big fellas there. So you can have some success off tackle if you can get there. But those guys just make a play time after time again.
Jay, what were we talking about with Bubba McDowell? He said, hey, we've got to be more physical up front. They out-physicaled us the first time as Trayvon Connolly throws it away with pressure in his face.
Yeah, and Coach McDowell said that, but I'm like, I just don't know what you do against it. You can try and fight back a little bit, but Florida A&M on defense is a team that pushes everybody around. They're clearly the bullies on the football field. I think he wants to see a little bit more fight from his team, but that's what you go in there thinking. But I think every team, when they face Florida A&M, they walk away saying, wow, I didn't realize how physical they were. They think it's going to be the Florida speed, but then they realize not only they're fast, but they're strong.
Connolly patiently waits, runs, tries to find a little crease, and a pickup of about 4 on the carry. Johnny Chaney Jr. with the tackle.
Yeah, and this is how you have to have creative runs. Get your quarterback involved in the running game. And that time they pulled Eric Dunn from the right side of formation. And look, big number 75. That's a seal block right there. You find that crease there, that can produce positive yards for whoever's running the football.
Connolly, as you mentioned, having success on the ground as a runner helps to propel this Prairie View A&M offense. Let's see what Mark Frederick dials up here for his offense on 3rd and 6. The pass incomplete, perhaps a miscommunication there on the route, as Shamar Savage the closest to the ball.
And you just don't have time to, you know, that's one of those times when we saw Connolly look a little bit uncomfortable in the pocket, but there were guys that got beat on the line of scrimmage to get penetration to force him to get rid of that football right away.
You mentioned Prairie View A&M playing in their 2nd SWAC Championship game in 3 years. They won it all back in 2009. And they're looking to do so again here, trailing by 14 as fair catch from Jamarie Shareed, and the Florida A&M offense will prepare to come back onto the football field. Well, Shop with Google is a proud sponsor of ESPN College Football, and obviously this is holiday season. Jay, you got your Christmas shopping in yet?
I bought pieces,
okay,
a couple pieces. I mean, I can't say it. I don't want to give it away to the family, so I'm hiding them around the house delicately right now. But Google's a part of it. How about you?
Oh, yeah. The idea was to really take advantage of whatever early Black Friday deals were out there. Here on 1st and 10, Kelvin Dean joining Musa in the backfield. Back to pass, flings it out to Dean and brought down behind the line of scrimmage. A tackle for a loss of 6 by DeJuan Lewis.
Yeah, good job, and that's what you have to do. Make some individual plays. If they spread you out, make the tackle. Florida A&M is going to be creative offensively, trying to stretch the field, but don't let them get away with it by those extra yards. See, once you recognize that's your guy, fly up there to the football to be disruptive. One of the few times you'll see Florida A&M with a negative play on first down.
Keep your eye up at the top of the screen. Marcus Riley, the wide receiver, already had some big plays. Musa grows into the middle of the field and short for Shareed, incomplete, and third down.
You have to make that throw right there. And that's why when you play quarterback for Willie Simmons, you have to be on the same page, and they were. They said, if we get cover 2, we're going to take the third guy going down the seam. He'll be wide open. See the bunch formation and take a look. I mean, that's open. That's open. Just missed the throw. Schematically, great play design. Just not executed well by Musa.
Third and long here for Florida A&M. 1 for 1 today on third down conversions. 3 wide receivers to the bottom of your screen. And Musa looking for Shareed, and he got turned around on the route, incomplete. That'll bring up fourth down. And the Panthers with the hold on defense, as we saw the Rattlers score on their first 2 possessions, but first chance we'll get a chance to see the old SWAC punter and Trey Wilhoit.
Yeah, they've got the stop in. Given where the returners stand about midfield, 50-yard line, they should have good field position. So the defense came up with a big stop.
Wilhoit standing in his own end zone. Ball placed at the 9-yard line of Florida A&M. Gets underneath it, and going to see it bounce out of bounds. Well, good time to take a look at Jay's HBCU power rankings, buddy.
Hey, well, you know, #1 team in the country. I think we kind of know who that is right now, and they're looking like it, dominating Florida A&M. Oh, but #2. That's the one there, you know, going about it was like, well, they are the champions of the MEAC. They are in the Cricket Celebration Bowl, so hats off to Howard, their highest ranking of the season. And since Howard beat Central has to go behind them. And then we've got Prairie View here, winners of the SWAC West. Team of the year, probably Benedict. Benedict had a fantastic season and not quite making it. 1 game short, the Braves of Alcorn State.
And just a reminder to our viewers, the winner of this game goes on to the Cricket Celebration Bowl to face off against the MEAC champion, Howard Bison. As Trayvon Connolly buying himself some time, the coverage there, and Kendall Bowler was all in the face of the receiver, Chris Herron. No flag comes out and brings up second down.
Ooh, tough one there, but a great job of recovery by Kendall Bowler. He fell for the bait, and he was in the trail position. See, a lot of contact. He stopped him. What you have to do is maybe stop and try and jump and get back into the play. But Bowler was fortunate there. I thought a flag should have been thrown.
Bowler picking up one of those all-SWAC honors on 2nd and 10. Trayvon Connolly sees Connor Wisham move to his left, the sophomore in the backfield for the first time, and short hop to the receiver, Herron. Pass incomplete, and third down upcoming.
And he's starting to get out of that groove. He came out, that first series looked good, but ever since that interception, he's been spotty a little bit. Just underthrew somebody there, just saw a poor pass there. See if they can find something to maybe get him on the perimeter and let him use his legs to get angry again and to try and attack this Florida A&M defense.
Connolly out of Dallas, Texas. They need a big play from him here on third down. Connolly looking downfield in the middle of the field, and the pass is short to Trajan Spiller. And the punting unit will trot back on for the Panthers.
And Connolly, you see that swag that he had coming out? It's gone a little bit. He started to look like that first game against Florida A&M, really not understanding what the Rattler defensive scheme is.
And Efren Jasso back to punt it away again. That one is whistled dead before he got started, as it's a false start against the Panthers.
False start. Offense. Number 26. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
They back him up 5 yards, as third time today we've seen the punting unit on for Prairie View A&M. How do you like those gold helmets?
Well, the uniforms are sweet. Yeah. The helmets, when I saw them in the pregame, I said, oh, they've got a lot of bling on those helmets there. And not used to seeing Florida A&M in the orange. I think, give credit to FAMU, the orange uniforms are sweet.
Jasso gets it away. Shareed, fair catch. And Florida A&M will get the ball at the 29-yard line. And Alabama already in action in the SEC Championship in Atlanta.
I can't wait till those rankings come out. I cannot wait, because somebody's just going to get their feelings hurt. Yeah. Somebody's going to get their feelings hurt. It's shaping up that way, and this will probably be the most anticipated one they've had in some years, because there will be a couple quality teams that are not going to make it to the playoff.
I mean, that's what the conversation has been like offline, and I'm probably sure at water coolers and on sports talk shows, just about who are going to be those 4 teams. Jay, I'll be curious to know if you think Georgia and Alabama would make it. If Alabama wins, right?
Oh, yeah. If Alabama wins, if Alabama wins, then yes, they go.
And Georgia?
Yes. I'm saying Georgia's getting in my opinion, they're getting in regardless. If they lose now, they win today, they're going. 2-time national champ, undefeated. Their one loss happens in 2 years happens to be the Bama, a really good team. So I think it's going to be very hard to keep Georgia out.
And it was tough to keep Florida A&M out of the end zone in this first quarter. They jumped out to a 14-0 advantage here at home, hosting their first ever SWAC Championship game, and the rain couldn't dampen the spirits. The fans in the stands, they're ready for more when we come back. Head coach Bubba McDowell in his second season as the head coach of Prairie View A&M. He played at Miami with the Hurricanes, went on to win a national championship, drafted in the 3rd round of the 1989 NFL Draft, played 7 seasons as an NFL safety, and then was named the Prairie View head coach on January 2nd, 2022, as Larisha Harris caught up with Coach McDowell.
Coach, what more do you need to see from your defense to limit these explosive plays?
We just got to hit our gaps and just play our gap responsibility. They're hitting us up the middle too much, and then you come to find out when we get on sideline, guys not taking care of their gap responsibility. If we do that, we'll be fine.
Thanks so much, Coach.
And that was Kamari Young on the reception up the middle, 32-yard gain. And it was Jaquez Yant with the pass to the tight end.
Some more of that creative play calling from Willie Simmons, and actually was setting it up and wanted to get it going. When Yant comes in the game, you think bigger running back, they're going to pound the football. But a good job of getting the ball to Kamari Young. And sometimes it's just fun to watch Coach Simmons call a game. You almost feel like you're playing a video game. Let me see how this works. But there's a method behind the madness, and it's been very successful here in Tallahassee.
A lot of shifting in motion in Simmons' offense to try to throw off the defense as play action pass. Musa with time, looking and nearly intercepted, as the closest person to it was Pearson, Travis Pearson, the second. Well, of course, championship Saturday coming up later. It's Louisville and Florida State. That's coming up tonight in the ACC Championship from Charlotte.
Florida State, one of those teams may get their feelings hurt. I'm saying may get their feelings hurt.
There's so much that has been done, but between the job that Mike Norvell has done over at Florida State and Willie Simmons here at Florida A&M. It's been quite a buzz in the capital city. Yant on the run to the right side, and short yard pickup there. Tackle made by Ahmad Robinson. So 3rd and 7 here for Florida A&M in Panther territory. Ball at PV's 28-yard line.
So this is where Willie Sims going to work. So he's setting you up for something. Like if they line up in just a basic formation, won't stay that way. They're going to move somebody and try and take advantage of this defense. So there goes the movement.
And they hand it off to Yant, and Yant, who stumbles backwards and falls in a fortuitous position to pick up the first down.
Didn't I tell you he was setting you up for something? It's obvious pass situations, get you thinking about that, brings a guy in motion so he can pull the whole left side of his line. And Cardell Thomas and Ashton Grable with a big 235-pound running back and convert on 3rd down running the football. Creativity, thinking outside the box.
You think about Cardell Thomas, you mentioned Yant as well. A couple of transfers brought in from Power 5 programs. Yant coming over after 3 seasons with Nebraska, and he's a big bruising bowling ball, tough to bring down. What did you say he was, 235, partner?
235 with a quick first step, downhill runner. And, you know, I like when you bring him in, challenge the defense. Can you bring down our big running back?
Multiple series now for Florida A&M, and we've seen those stable of running backs that you mentioned. Jennings starting off the game, then Dean, and now Yant carrying the load here on this drive.
Really like it. Yant gets in there. He's in there to bruise. So this is set up right. Look at this formation. Creative formation. Yant down at the bottom of your screen with a tackle lined up in the slot.
How often do you see it? Coben calling for it, throws him off. There's Kamari Young, stretches out, and brought down at about the 1-yard line. They're going to say that he was down, but Prairie View A&M trying to signal to say, hey, we came up with the football after it came out. They may very well review this one. Let's see it again. The extra effort from Young.
Oh, he was on top of the Prairie View player, extended that arm.
After immediate review, the runner was down by contact.
So a quick review made by Ryan Paris, the replay official up in the booth.
Call a timeout now. If I'm Bubba, I'm calling a timeout. Let him think about it some more.
And if you're Florida A&M, wouldn't you try to quickly snap the ball from their 1-yard line, 1st and goal, and no timeout?
Yeah, what is taking so long? Yeah.
And there it is.
Timeout. Prairie View.
All right, so they'll potentially look it over a little bit more. That's exactly what Bubba McDowell is hoping they do as we step aside here for a break. And Kamari Young trying to extend that arm and reach into the end zone. Was he down or did he fumble? We'll find out when we come back. Timeout taken by Prairie View A&M, and they're still replaying that last play and the catch from Kamari Young. Now the question here is, did he fumble the football? The ruling on the field was no, that he was down. Jay, what do you see here?
I see he's short. So first you got to see, is he short of the end zone? Because if it was a touchdown, if it across the goal line, doesn't matter. But there, he's got control of the ball, nose over the front end. Ground, what they say, ground cannot cause that fumble. Very lucky that they retained possession.
Musa already snuck one in here. Jaquez Yant now getting on the scoring party. Florida A&M touchdown. They move down the field and put up another score on Prairie View A&M, and the Rattler fans and Rattler Nation loving what they're seeing right now from their team.
This team is ranked as high as they are on the national polls for a reason. And Florida A&M defense being stingy and aggressive, and the offense is clicking right now on all cylinders.
Right, they're ranked as high in some polls as number 5, and Florida A&M is showing off their dominance right here through a quarter and some change.
Timeout.
Plays 71 yards, more than 5 minutes taken off the clock, capped off by this Yant touchdown run. Well, the dark cloud defense has been a major storyline for Florida A&M all season long, and when you think about their ranks best in the FCS and total offense, scoring offense, second in tackles for loss, Jay, they've just gotten it done in a variety of ways.
And I think this is when we talk about the evolution of Willie Simmons. We know what he does on offense, but coaching this defense, allowing them to do what they do, and they make it simple. This is not a complicated defensive scheme. The front four set the tone. Anthony Dunn, one of the best pass rushers in the country, deep defense, and they're good.
You think about what Ryan Smith, the defensive coordinator, has had to work with over the last couple of years. You think about Isaiah Land, the Buck Buchanan Award winner, now with the Indianapolis Colts, occupying that same position, at that fang position that Anthony Dunn Jr. is in now. Marquise Bell, also one of those guys who was a bell cow on defense, now in the NFL with the Cowboys.
And I think one of the keys is, having the ability to have guys not think, and we all know the state of Florida's got great football players, great talent, but they've been able to capitalize to keep them motivated, hungry, and that's where you get performances like this. I mean, outside of that opening drive, it's been Florida A&M's defense that has been the MVP.
Well, Bubba McDowell said, hey, look, that first half back on October 28th, when we were here for FAMU's homecoming, we played a solid first half, and then we imploded in the second half. But they put up a lot of points, did FAMU, off their defense, as a pass complete and a pickup of a first down after Mekhi Metcalf gains 15, or rather 16 there.
And that's what you have to do. You have to get to the secondary. If you can get to their secondary, I'm not even going to call it the weakness of the defense, but there's some creases there you can do some damage. So if the D-line, you can neutralize them by the quick passing game and get to the secondary, that's how you can produce some yards.
Trying to bounce to the outside, but a number of orange jerseys mirroring the ball carrier as Wisham is forced out of bounds.
This is what you call an aggressive defense against the run. They recognize this run play. Look at all the orange jerseys that are going to fly to the football. And number 3, Kendall Bowler, he's going to come up from his cornerback position. Look at him. No, you're not going anywhere. That's a defense that does not want to give up any yards running the football.
You're on 2nd and 9. Connolly scrambling out of the pocket, makes something out of nothing, slides just a couple of yards short of that first down marker.
Can't make that mistake because this defense is so stingy. So he gave himself up a little bit too soon. This is the championship game. Go ahead first, get the first down. 3rd down and 2 against this defense? Okay, well, let's see. I don't know what you do. Don't run it. You can't run, so now you got to make another play. Mental mistake. Had he just gone forward and leaned forward, championship, $1 million on the line, I'm not chancing it against this defense.
Got to get to the 49.5-yard line of Florida A&M. So far, Prairie View has picked up 41 yards on the ground. Connolly needs 3 here, and then a false start. Movement up front, and Panthers will go backwards.
False start. Offense. Number 77. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Take a look here. I mean, pretty offense right here. You got the big guys, both on the end men on the line of scrimmage in the tackle box. It's just so unfortunate. You should have had first down, and then it became 3rd and 2. Mental error, moving early. Now it's 3rd and 8. And wow, cannot do that in this caliber football game versus an opponent of this quality.
So instead of 3rd and 3, it's now 3rd and 8. Obvious passing situation as Connolly tries to escape the pocket but can't get away. That's Gentle Hunt.
Call him not so Gentle Hunt. One of my favorite players to cover across
Timeout.
the country
Injury.
from his defensive tackle position. And this is Florida A&M letting the dogs out. 4-man rush, no blitz, nothing special. Our 4 guys are going to go after the quarterback, and Hunt made a big hit on Connolly.
And Connolly's still feeling it. He's down on the field. Trainers tending to him now. And General Hunt, the senior out of High Springs, Florida, came in, has been a disruptor along that interior.
Look at the 4-man rush. And look, all the guys winning their battle. Allen Smith, 23, wins his battle. General Hunt wins his battle from nose tackle. Nowhere to go. You've got 5 offensive linemen and only 4 guys rushing, and they still got to the quarterback in a major way. That's why Florida A&M has one of the best defenses in all of FCS football.
You see
We got
Connolly
airborne. That hurts when he
landing
landed.
awkwardly on that right side as he is slow to get to the sideline, and that's tough to see. So Connolly, the guy who makes them go on offense, will get tended to on the sideline. Meanwhile, Willie Simmons said, hey, look, that interior line is being that defensive front 4 is ever so tough, as Jasso punting it away to Jamarie Shareed. No return there after a 40-yard punt. We're going to take a break here from Tallahassee, and the defense ready to look on as there is a little activity there just around the Rattler logo at midfield. Flags come flying out, and you see Bubba McDowell, the head coach, trying to get C.J. Presley and the rest of his team, along with the staff, back to the sideline. As they sort things out, we'll take a break and tell you what the call is on the other side. Beautiful purple sky as the sun's setting here in Tallahassee.
There's nothing beautiful about the weather today.
Yes, it is. You know why? Because it's clear right now, partner. We saw a ton of rain wash over the area. And certainly it's backed off for now. Very different story. Remember, this game was delayed by at least 30 minutes because of the weather. Terrell Jennings on that right side. The caregiver going to the defender. He's still on his feet, but a flag is out. Terrell Jennings showing off the hops.
This dude is 6'1", 225 pounds. That's a lot of weight to get elevated in the air like that. What a spectacular run.
Holding.
Bring it back.
Offense, number 62. This is a 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Repeat, first down.
It's worth seeing this replay.
Airborne.
Cleared him.
I mean, that was a nice hurdle.
and kept going and then made another guy miss. Fantastic run by Terrell Jennings. Look at the athleticism of the big fella.
The 20-yard gain will be negated as we send it down to Larisha.
Well, guys, Terrell Jennings has been playing some of his best football in the midst of adversity. He's missing his aunt's funeral today because of the championship game, and he told me his aunt was one who believed in his football dream, and she always taught him to keep going, and that's exactly what he's doing right now with these plays, these explosive plays that we are seeing.
Well, thanks so much, Larisha, overcoming so much throughout his career, as that one incomplete to David Manigo. First time he's been targeted, but Willie Simmons says, hey, when you think about a guy who is resilient, who has fought through, it's Terrell Jennings who comes to mind.
Absolutely, and I'm going with what Larisha said. I'd say keep going. Well, on that last run play, he was going to keep it going, hurdling somebody, making a missing. That's what the college experience is like going through. Life's not going to be easy. I always hear Coach say, life's not going to be easy, but how do you handle the hardships in life? And hats off to the job that Terrell Jennings is doing.
Second and 20, and through the hands of Kamari Young. It's going to bring up 3rd and long for the Rattlers.
And I'm not sure how sharp Musa is today. You know, maybe the conditions have something to do with it. Playing out here, but it hasn't been as accurate as we've seen. We've seen some great plays by his receiving core. They're not, but couple of throws we've seen, he's been off target by a lot.
The last game played on November 18th, the weekend before Thanksgiving, winning the Florida Classic against in-state rival Bethune-Cookman. Musa was 14 of 21 for only 150 yards in that last game. I've been bothered by a little bit of a shoulder injury. He shrugged it off, and there again, just not on the same page with his receivers. And 4th down on the way.
They're trying to stick a seam route, but you have to give the receiver a little bit more time to clear. That being the case, you know, we've seen at times where Florida A&M will have that 3-and-out. Musa gets off track, and then that's when teams are able to get back into the game. And that's what Prairie View needs to take advantage of right now.
Second punt of the game for Will Hoyt. Cody Mayberry standing at his own 40-yard line, set to receive it. And that's going to be able to set up a return, a 47-yard punt, and what can Mayberry do with it? 7-yard return for the Panthers, and let's take a look at the last possession for Prairie View on offense, and getting to the quarterback was General Hunt, and Connolly goes down hard on that right shoulder. He was slow to get up, and so Connolly had to go back to the locker room, and you see not a lot of movement with that right arm or along that right side. And backup quarterback Kenneth Patterson, the sophomore out of Cypress, takes over. And handed off to the ball carrier. And a short gain for the Panthers running back, Caleb Johnson.
Yeah, with the backup quarterback coming in, and Patterson, similar type offense they run with Patterson. Normally you see a little change in pace, whatever, but he's like the exact same guy as Conley. They want him to run the ball, effective runner, and throw the football as well. Bright future ahead of him, but you see right away they changed it up a little bit. First play in, run the football. We haven't seen him run on first down all game long, but they're trying to get him going slowly in this game. But down by 21, he's going to have to make some throws.
Only has a rush on the season for 13 yards and trying to complete his first pass of the season. Instead, it's intercepted. Morgan with his second INT of the ball game. Well, he emerged into a really good defender last season. Ball skills, he's quick, and coming up with his second pick.
And this one, he threw it right to him. This is knowing your keys, and Morgan plays that rover position. And he just sits there and he's looking like, oh, thank you. That's where you're going? I'll take that. Not the way you want to start your entrance in this game if you're Kenneth Patterson. Threw it right to him. Florida A&M confused the young fella.
Well, his first pass of the season results in an interception. And the Dark Cloud defense celebrating afterward. The Tallahassee product, Javen Morgan, gives this offense great field position from the Panthers 45. And Riley was hit as he threw. And feeling that was Kendon Jones. Jones, who came up to deliver the blow. He was right there, read it all the way.
Yeah, what you call one of those blindside hits. You see 46, Jones tracking him down. He sets up to throw it, and puts a big hit on him. Florida A&M very fortunate that ball was not a fumble. Good hustle there by Jones.
Fifth-year senior out of Houston. And there's a delay on the field, and now they wind.
So they're saying the hit. So that was first down play. They're saying that the hit, the ball went out of bounds, and so call it a fumble. So they're calling that a fumble, and that's why they had to move the chains.
Good read, partner. Thank you.
No problem.
So after that loss of 7, we'll give them the explanation.
The previous play is under further review.
And I can understand why they want to review this one, because it was close. I actually thought that should have been a pass, but it's not my job to determine what it is. We'll leave that up to the replay officials. We'll let you know what they decide when we come back.
Streaming on ESPN3, and then some other bands also in participation as well. Prairie View A&M, the Marching Storm.
I think that's a pretty sweet name.
Are in the
Marching
building.
Storm.
The Marching Storm. Yeah. SWAC Championship on ESPN2 here. Jay Walker, Tiffany Green, along with Larisha Harris.
And you just had a feeling Florida A&M is going to make them pay. They're going to take advantage of that fumble being turned into an incomplete pass, and they're going to try and hurt you again. Some way you just had that feeling that's what the Rattlers do.
So it's 2nd and 10 after that review. And getting to them quickly and bringing down the ball carrier was Travion Green out of Fort Worth, Texas. He's that fast guy. He can be an edge guy, a linebacker for him. He can play anywhere on that defense.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. He plays linebacker at 195 pounds, so that would be undersized, built more like a safety, but not afraid to mix it up. And that was a great job of tracking down the ball carrier.
Loss of 3 as defensive coordinator and linebacker coach Alvin Fosselman III has to like that.
See,
From Green.
Right now you see the too high safety look they've got for Prairie View A&M, so Willie Simmons is going to find some way to get to some type of trips formation so he can attack the too high look, try and find a seam.
Trying to anticipate and coming off the edge, the flag thrown and into the hands of Jennings, who's undercut.
That'll be coming back, but that's why I call him Old Slick Willie. See, he sets you up for everything to attack that cover 2. He's going to half roll the pocket and do a little slip draw in there, but looks like I think Florida A&M moved too soon before the ball was snapped.
Offside. Defense. Number 91. Lined up at the neutral zone at the snap. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
So it goes against Prairie View's Derek Ray Jr. And another look at it here, as I think Ray Jr. was trying to time up the snap, and they say yes, he goes into the neutral zone. It was right at the time that they snapped it.
And he was in that stand-up position there, so they're going to do it. I guess for Florida A&M, a little bit unfortunate. He's in the neutral zone. They didn't give him the option of taking that play, so we'll run back 3rd down.
False start. Number 8. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
So that wipes it off, and that look on Coach Simmons' face says it all. Well, we had an interesting conversation that we'll get into with Coach Simmons and obviously the play caller for this team, as well as the head coach, quarterbacks coach, the former signal caller himself. Well, there's the trips you were talking about there to the top of the screen. Musa surveying the field, feeling some pressure, avoids C.J. Presley, and had the man and just short hopped it to Marcus Riley, incomplete.
Accuracy hasn't been there for Musa. That's a throw you have to make, on this level football in your sleep. You got to be able to throw that ball, step up, and deliver when a receiver's that wide open. But when he's missed, he seemed to be skipping the ball a little bit, short hopping it, to use a baseball term.
Averaging just under 50 yards a punt. Will Hoyt trying to pin him as Laundry flies out.
Good job.
And great job. That's Tevin Griffey, son of Major League Baseball Hall of Famer Ken Griffey Jr.
One of the GOATs. I say Ken Griffey Jr., not his Hall of Famer, but definitely my generation, our greatest baseball player I think we produced. coming out of the 80s and 90s.
Oh, he was a sweet swinging lefty. And frequenter of football games at Florida A&M following this Rattler football team as Griffey has been on the highest of 7 hills for a few seasons now.
Illegal formation. Offense. This is a 5-yard penalty. Replay, 4th down.
So they're going to have to re-kick it here.
Wow.
And
formation. God, but think about it, that was excellent execution by the punt team. They downed that ball on like 2 or 3 yard line. So maybe top of the line, the guy right there on the 50-yard line has got to be closer to that line of scrimmage. And pretty easy for the official to see it.
fair catch, and this one goes into the end zone for a touchback after that 53-yard boot from Will Hoyt. Well, coming up on the All-State halftime report, we're just under 4 minutes of game time away from getting there. Texas making their case, and how about a preview of a couple of championship games coming up out of the Big Ten, and of course everyone in Tally-Ho, as I like to say, and is said around here, checking out what happens in that ACC championship game. Good sign for the Panthers as Trayvon Connolly back onto the field. He got injured a couple of series ago, and back at the helm. Connolly, the pass, and it's complete to Spiller as we send it down to Larisha.
On the tackle, number 3, Kendall Wilder. Gain of 7.
Having some technical difficulties. We'll
I was
check
trying
back in. There she is.
Yeah, it's great to see Connolly back on the field. We saw him run to the locker room and then back into the medical tent where they did some work on him. He was on the sidelines warming up. He was nurturing his throwing arm, but we see him back in the game, and that's a good thing.
All right, and you see Brian Jenkins Jr., who's in the ballgame. Remember, he had a concussion before that FAMU game earlier in the regular season when they came to Tallahassee. And now they're happy to have him back in the lineup because he can be an X factor.
Yeah, they want to get him the football. Good job here. Nothing there. And bubble screen, you just want to make the first guy miss. Well, he decides to make 2 guys miss, comes all the way across the field, and able to come up with the big play for Prairie View A&M. And Brian Jenkins Jr., yes, that name Brian Jenkins is known around here. Brian Jenkins was the head coach at Bethune-Cookman. And got himself in trouble, but he was probably the ultimate Rattler killer. I mean, he had the Wildcats competing at their highest level in a long time.
They were running through the MEAC in the mid-2010s as Larisha. I know you're familiar with that. We're having a tough time getting down to her, but a Bethune-Cookman graduate had the opportunity to witness the Wildcats in their strong run through Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference play. Both Bethune-Cookman and Florida A&M moved over to the SWAC back in 2021.
Oh, nice throw. Nice execution on that play. You can see in the arm strength.
Going up the ladder was Trayvon Spiller to haul in that catch, and good enough for a first down after a 16-yard gain.
And let me say this about Colin. Regardless of what happens the rest of this game, my hat's off to him. I mean, the fact that he's back on the field, he could have easily said, hey, my arm is a little bit sore, not go back in there. That defense from Florida A&M is hurting on me. Could have, milked the injury a little bit. He's back out here. Hats off to that young man. That's football.
That one batted away, but it speaks to the resiliency of this Prairie View A&M team as a whole. When we had a chance to chat with the coaching staff before, they said, hey, look, we've endured some of the rough patches throughout the year, right? And they've had some ups and downs throughout the season. We showed, hey, look, they were able to take down Alcorn State and engineer a come-from-behind victory. Texas Southern, they did it to start out the season, and now they enter Tallahassee in the SWAC Championship game on a 3-game winning streak, but trailing by 3 scores. Connolly has to make some magic happen, and the pass complete here, and deeper into Rattler territory as Shamar Savage was bumped out of bounds. He could be a guy for them, 22-yard pickup.
And if you're Bubba McDowell, you have to like the fact that, hey, these guys aren't showing any quit. Right now, we're seeing this offense. It seems like they're ready to fight against this Florida A&M defense. Can really gain a little momentum if they can put some points on the scoreboard before the half.
On the carry is Caleb Johnson, and Johnson, determined run there from the transfer out of Memphis, Tennessee, into the red zone after that 14-yard effort.
We know Johnson trying to make the most of his opportunity. We talked about the transfer from Mississippi Valley State, but this is good hard-nosed running. See, after the contact, he's not going down. Look at that. Keep the legs going. Pick up those extra yards. That's what you like to see in a running back.
Great to see him bounce back after a calf injury when he faced the Rattlers the last time. And again, tough running up ahead for Johnson, an all-SWAC selection a couple of years ago. Pickup of 2.
Ball security is a key. Don't think you're going to be able to run the football against Florida A&M to get it into the end zone. So you're going to need Connolly to make a play.
We're from the Rattlers' 8-yard line. Less than a minute to go in this first half. 2 timeouts to work with for Prairie View. They're searching for their first points of the game. They hand it back off to Caleb Johnson, and Johnson is in for the score. That wipes off the shutout off the board, and an 8-yard touchdown run for Caleb Johnson.
Look at him. Look at the fans. Let's go. The ones that made the trip from Texas.
You know, PV has a hill of their own, so they travel from the hill in Texas to the highest of 7 hills here in Tallahassee, and Johnson helps them bring it to a 2-score deficit.
Yeah, a little bit surprised. Florida A&M continued to only put 6 people in the box, 2 linebackers, and Prairie View A&M just counted the numbers and capped it off with a good run by Johnson.
Villa Gomez punts it or kicks it through for the PAT. And an 80-yard drive for Prairie View A&M, and Caleb Johnson rewarded with his first rushing TD of the game.
Good job. You like to see that. Give them a little spark and give them something they can go into. Your fans made that trip. And you see, you just need a little spark to get you going and see if they can build some momentum and come out and win the second half.
Important to show that sign of life for Prairie View A&M, given the fact that Florida A&M will get the ball to start the second half.
And to more importantly, mentally, for the defense to know, hey, if we get some stops, yes, our offense can score against Florida A&M. If you go in there with a shutout, the defense can say, hey, even if we stop them, you guys can't score. But the fact that they walked away and put 7 points on the board in this first half, you take the little small victories as they come.
And just a reminder to our viewers, a trip to the Cricket Celebration Bowl on December 16th in Atlanta is on the line. Will it be Prairie View A&M or Florida A&M to represent the Southwestern Athletic Conference in that HBCU National Championship game? Here on the return, Marcus Riley. You got to watch out for him. Marcus Riley along the sideline in a strong return to set up potentially this final drive for Florida A&M. Invitational.
Is this going to be the debut? Is Bronny James going to play? I know he practiced last week, so.
I heard that will happen, and Dad will be in the stands.
Oh, okay.
He said, he told his teammates, he said, hey, look, I'm going to be there. That's a special moment, and given what Bronny has gone through and the health scare, he wants to see his son play in that game. Florida A&M, who won 8 titles in the MEAC, searching for their first ever in the SWAC. As Terrell Jennings is bottled up by a number of white jerseys, and some extracurricular going on afterward with Keyshawn Johnson and the guys up front after Johnson made the tackle. And this is a young man who is known as the vocal leader of this group, and a lot of emotions and passion on the football field.
Timeout. Florida A&M. Their first of the half. 30-second timeout.
And I think a little surprised to see the running play on first down. I thought after you got a pretty good return from Marcus Riley that Florida A&M may try and steal some points back at the end of the half, even if it's just a field goal. I think that's what this timeout is about. Like, hey, you know what, let's get a plan. Where do we have to get to attempt a field goal to try and increase our lead before the half, try and get back some of that momentum.
Well, just a reminder to our viewers, coming up at halftime on ESPN3, it's the McDonald's Band halftime performance. You won't want to miss it, as both the Marching 100 and the Marching Storm are set to take Ken Riley Field here at Bragg Memorial Stadium.
And I want to see the Storm. Haven't seen them in a while, probably 2 or 3 years since I've last seen them. So let's see what they do at halftime. It'll be another battle.
Here on 2nd and 9, 33 seconds remaining in the half. Musa with time. And the pass complete to Marcus Riley. Riley with the pickup of 16, and again, Marsh pushing and shoving after the plays, as getting extra chippy down there on the field. And do we see any flags? Yeah, back at about the 35-yard line.
Offense, number 62. 10-yard penalty, second down.
Well, the guard, right guard Charles Davis, guilty of the hold.
See him out there. Yeah, they've got him out there playing tackle. That's a grab. Good call by the official. That's a takedown, that extra second, which allowed Musa to throw the ball downfield. And I'm going to say something. These officials, they're going to have to penalize somebody for unnecessary roughness, because we're seeing fights like almost after every other play. It's getting chippy down there. So I'd like to see the officials take control of it, give them some warning shots, and you're going to have to flag somebody to get them to stop.
And they just hand it off to Jennings, and Jennings bursts through for a good gain of about 7. Clock winding down again. There you go, Jay, just as you mentioned. Still no yellow coming out.
And the way you do it, you catch the instigate. Whoever, you pay attention, you listen. Whoever you hear, start mouthing off a little bit. Whoever throws that first blow, you have to penalize him for that.
But check out Musa and Cardell Thomas talking right there, as Musa, the leader, and you've got to be careful as these teams trot into the locker room. But you see the leadership there from Jeremy Musa telling one of his old linemen, hey, look, let's simmer down. Got a 14-point lead going into the locker room. Let's not lose your cool now. So Prairie View A&M going in first. They're holding Florida A&M on the field before trotting into the locker room. And that's the greatest asset that Willie told us about Jeremy Musa. That leadership right there, as she's standing by with Coach Willie Simmons. Hey, Larisha, what you got?
Coach Simmons, what is the message? How do you get your guys focused and away from a lot of the chippiness that we see after each play?
Just got to stop being silly. It's silly. It's uncharacteristic. It's immaturity. That's not the way we play football all year long. So they're about to get an ass chewing right now. That's not representative of FAMU.
What more do you need to see from Musa? We saw some poor throws and maybe some wrong decisions that you didn't seem to be pleased with.
He just got to settle down. I mean, he hadn't practiced a lot because of his shoulder, and he's trying to catch up on those game speed reps. So hopefully after this first half, we can settle him down a little bit and get him back to form.
Thanks so much, Coach.
You know, some very candid words from Coach Willie Simmons. Our halftime score in that SWAC championship game, Florida A&M on top 21-7. After this break, we will send you to the studio for the All-State halftime report.
Welcome back to Dr. Pepper Championship Week.
And welcome back to the SWAC Championship here on ESPN2, presented by McDonald's. As a part of Dr. Pepper Championship Week, 2 quarters in the books here from Tallahassee, Florida. And Florida A&M with a 21-7 advantage over Prairie View A&M. Hey, glad to have you back with us. Jay Walker, Tiffany Green, Larisha Harris down on the field. Well, let's say this. Florida A&M, Prairie View A&M, anxious to try to make it to the Cricket Celebration Bowl. Your thoughts on the way each team performed in the first half?
Well, I think you have to break it down in the half right now. And Florida A&M won the first half, but you're fortunate enough in your Prairie View, you're within striking distance if you can win the second half. So that's what they have to be thinking. We got one half of football to go out here and make our season complete.
Explosive plays is what hurt Prairie View the first time around in that 45-7 decision earlier in the season. Big plays, and then 1-yard punches in from Musa and another running back. And here, Prairie View A&M gave Florida A&M the ball on the first drive, intercepted by Javen Morgan, and then Trayvon Connolly goes down at the big hit by General Hunt.
Yeah, they took advantage of the turnovers with Florida A&M's defense. That's what they do. But how about the job that Connolly did? Goes into the locker room after that big hit, comes back into the game, and engineers a drive to get the Panthers down the field and give them a little momentum before the half as they scored 7 points to close the gap.
That was Caleb Johnson on the score for the Panthers, and they'll need more of that in this second half. Connolly was 7 of 14 for 91 yards and an INT. Similar numbers for the SWAC Offensive Player of the Year in Jeremy Musa. We heard Willie Simmons tell Larisha going into the locker room, hey, he is not his sharp self. He is dealing with a little bit of a shoulder injury. They hope he shrugs that off and is more accurate here in the second half.
And I believe Willie Simmons probably has to be a little disappointed. They're only up by 14. They had a 21-zip lead most of the first half, could have increased the lead, not able to do so and let the Panthers hang around.
Here on the return, there's Marcus Riley as he's tripped up. Flags come out at the end of the play as well. Just before second half play started, Larisha Harris caught up with Bubba McDowell.
Coach, you had that score right at the end of the second quarter. What was your message to your team to keep that momentum going in the second half?
Just lock in and just do what we asked them to do, and we'll be fine. And again, we're just a lot of guys out there just trying to make plays instead of just doing what their responsibilities are. And anytime you, again, when you do try to do something you're not able to do, a good team like this is going to exploit you. So again, we just told them just do what we asked you guys to do, and we'll be fine.
Connolly came back after we saw him go down in the first half. How's he doing and what's his status?
He's doing really good right now. So we're just playing him right now. He's good to go. It was a shoulder deal with him, but right now he looks fine. And so now we just got to go out there and put things together and try to get a win.
Thanks so much, Coach.
Thank you.
There was a face mask against Prairie View A&M, so that was the penalty that was being called in the process of the interview. As Bobby Wright leading this SWAC official crew here tonight. Advances the ball out to the FAMU 42-yard line, where the Rattlers will begin their first drive of this second half. Musa coming in under center. With 3 seconds left on the play clock, gets it off. Terrell Jennings, who started out this game on the carry, and not much room to run as he's brought down by Warren Schenkel. Taking a look at the first half stats. Rushing yards, pretty equal there. A little advantage also to Florida A&M in the pass yardage category. The third down conversions among those things that help FAMU continue to move the ball and get up 2 scores.
And if you'd have asked me what stands out about those stats, I would have told you absolutely nothing. But you need a type of nothing game if you're Prairie View A&M. You can't allow Florida A&M to dominate you in passing yards, dominate you in rushing yards. So they're still in it. Nothing really has been the key, but I think the health of Connolly is the important thing for Prairie View A&M.
With Gassett in motion, they hand it off to the running back, and Jennings is brought down from behind as the tackle made by Derek Ray Jr. So now 3rd down here for FAMU's offense.
And you know, since they got the 21 points, they've slowed down a little bit. Musa hasn't been as accurate as you would like your quarterback to be, missed some throws. So Prairie View A&M right now with a chance to force a 3-and-out to start at half, that would be huge for the Panthers. Man-to-man coverage across the board. They're going to try and get some type of rub or crossing route.
Musa delivers there to Marcus Riley, who shakes a tackler. Still going, Mulmore and Green bringing him down after the 21-yard game, where we saw how critical Marcus Riley was on the opening possession, and Musa going to his playmaker.
Yeah, this is a great job. You go one-on-one, you want to try to find a guy that can make you, that can hurt you, and it's a good job finding the one-on-one matchup. But you have to think curl route's not the route you want to throw as a quarterback versus man-to-man, but the athleticism of Riley showed up.
Jennings brought down by Keyshawn Johnson behind the line of scrimmage, loss of 1. And so Jennings will trot to the sideline. We mentioned just kind of the bevy of running backs that we've seen all season long for the Rattlers, as Kelvin Dean now checking in for Florida A&M.
And back to that Riley play, think about when we talked about at the beginning of the game, the key for Florida, for Prairie View A&M, have to be able to tackle. They brought the pressure, then the missed tackle, more yards, and now you're on the ropes. They have to stop giving up the explosive plays.
The toss to Dean, trying to find a little crease, does so. Falls forward, and Dean a few yards short of the first down marker as an injured Panther
timeout
is down on the field. An injury timeout taken, and you see Derek Ray Jr. holding that left leg in the area of a knee. Don't want to speculate here. The trainers will check it out and will step aside here. South leading Jaguars taking on a very desperate Cincinnati Bengals team here. Out of the injury timeout, 3rd and 4, and pass incomplete to Jamarie Shareed. Well, we were talking about the National Football League, and Willie Simmons has seen a couple of his guys make it to the next level, and Marquise Bell along with Isaiah Land with the Cowboys and Colts respectively. And how about Cordero Hodge on that Atlanta Falcons roster coming out of Prairie View?
And Hodge has been in the NFL for a couple years now. Marquise Bell will be year 2 for him. Isaiah Land, first year rookie, got his first sack a week ago against the Commanders, so good job by them, and proud of the job that Hodge has done representing Prairie View A&M in the pros.
41-yard attempt for Cameron Gillis, and the field goal is no good. Wide left on the attempt, and now the rain just unloads here at Bragg Memorial Stadium. Much of what we saw for most of the day, Jay, and now it's coming down in droves.
Yeah, this is the pregame weather. Hey, you know what? Prairie View's like, bring on the rain. They want to make this sloppy. They want to make it messy. Let's see if this becomes a factor in this game.
And remember, there was a weather delay before we started the game.
Hey,
it was supposed to begin at 4.
For lightning.
And you just heard it. Lightning in the area, anything within 8 miles. Players and fans have to clear the field and stands. So we are officially in a weather delay here from Tallahassee.
An extended halftime of halftime, so.
So we will step aside here as Weather delay is in effect starting at 6:40. Come right back with us. Able to get it off. The pass is intercepted. Dico Wilson coming up with the big third of the game for the Rattlers. So just as Prairie View looks to be gaining some momentum, it's given right back to the Rattlers. The defense, the dark cloud defense, looming large. Said this was a sleeping giant, built this program on the 7 F's: faith, fundamentals, fast, fight, finish. They had fun today, and the FAMUly will celebrate all the way to Atlanta. The final from Tallahassee, 35-14. Florida A&M extends their winning streak to now 10 in a row to move to 11-1 overall. Boy, it was a crazy game indeed, but we thank you so much for watching. For Larisha Harris, Jay Walker, and the rest of our crew, we say so long from Tallahassee, Florida, home of the SWAC champion FAMU Rattlers. We out.
But wow, very surprised that they elected to go for it there. Nothing says you do it in that situation.
So now that sets up the Prairie View drive here from the 43-yard line of Florida A&M. And there you see taking off is Heron, and Heron back into the ball game, an 8-yard carry. So again, the question mark about Trayvon Connolly, would he be good enough to go with that shoulder? And it appears that for the time being, they're going to elect to go with Chris Heron, the junior out of Missouri City, Texas.
Yeah, transfer from Kansas State, and you see the speed right there. So he's been playing wide receiver, but has a package that he can run. A little bit more of a running threat than you might have been seeing with Connolly. This is going to be interesting.
Ahmad Antoine in the backfield, and Antoine is breaking it off. Ahmad Antoine, daylight, yes sir, touchdown Prairie View. 35 yards, big play from AA.
They still here, Tiff. Those Panthers are still here, the football team and some of the fans, and wow, able to run right up the middle of Florida A&M's defense. That normally doesn't happen, but a great job by Chan Jones at center.
Well, you talked about the #1 rushing defense in the SWAC, second overall in FCS football. That doesn't happen very often, and you blink, and guess what? The Panthers are within 7.
Not the traditional way that you draw it up, but Prairie View A&M showing signs of life as Antoine takes it to the house into your living room. We got a ball game.
And wow, Prairie View, their fans and their band traveled about 17 hours, just about an hour outside of Houston, to make their way to Florida's capital city. And you see the Panthers celebrating.
I like that. You know, think about it. If you drove 16, 17 hours to get here, when the rain comes, you're not leaving. You're not going back to your hotel room. They're going to stay here in the parking lot and support their team. And good to see their team giving them something to enjoy. And let's also think big picture. Florida A&M was up in this game 21-0. So Prairie View has scored the last 14 points, and they're just doing it on grit. Quarterback is out, bringing in a backup quarterback.
And I embellished a little bit there, Jay. Not quite 16, 17 hours, but when you make those stops, it ends up being like that when you're traveling large groups like that. And the up man takes it on the return for Florida A&M. And so the question is, can Prairie View engineer a comeback like they did at the Labor Day Classic against Texas Southern back on Labor Day weekend.
And that's when, Texas Southern was riding high. A lot of people had them projected to finish higher than Prairie View, but they were able to complete the comeback and win the Labor Day Classic on this field goal there. So this is the team that believes in themselves.
Showed fight, overcame a 17-point deficit in the second half to win that overtime thriller on a field goal. Well, now the top-ranked team in HBCU football, Florida A&M, has the ball back here. Marcus Riley in motion. Musa receives it, hands it off to Terrell Jennings. Jennings with a hole, and Jennings along the left side. First down yardage and more. Knocked out by DeJuan Lewis, but that 20-yard gain has FAMU fans starting to fire up.
Yeah, missed tackle again. This is a team that doesn't tackle well. We talked about it, but right here, when you get him in the open field, you have to make that tackle. Limit him to just a 5-yard gain instead of a 20-yard running play. And that's something that Bubba McDowell's been trying to tell his team, just do your job. That's what he means. If we put you on that side of the field to make the tackle, you have to make the tackle.
On 1st and 10 now from Panther territory. Jennings gets the ball again. Patient running as well. Trevion Green brings him down. So 2nd and 4 upcoming.
I really like this approach right now by Willie Simmons. You've got the big backs. Jennings has had a good game for you running the football. Conditions not great. Challenge a poor tackling Prairie View defense to make some tackles in the running game.
Well, this was a Florida A&M rushing attack last season that was 12th last in the ground game in the SWAC, averaging just about 95 yards a game. This time they've turned it around, in addition to that passing attack as well, as Jennings is tripped up by Schenkel. So the air raid attack that they've seen with Jeremy Musa, with the addition of these great running backs as well, with Jennings and Dean and Yant. And you hear the 100 trying to get this Rattler squad going. Third and 1. Jennings trying to find some space, and Jennings is going to be stopped just short of that first down marker, maybe like about half a yard or maybe even closer than that.
Yeah, I think, Bubba McDowell's figured out they are not going to throw the ball right now. So when you know that's the key or the case, you just load up the box, and they're playing man-to-man on the outside, daring Florida A&M to throw the football, which is something you normally wouldn't do. But with Musa being a little bit inaccurate today and being rainy, slippery conditions.
The last possession, FAMU went for it on 4th down, was held short. This time, Musa says, we will not be denied. And that's when you lean on your guys up front. TJ Demas, TJ Lee, Cardell Thomas, to help get enough push up front. Physicality was something that was brought up about the last meeting, and FAMU being the more physical team back on October 28th.
Yeah, FAMU's going to be more physical than a lot of teams. That's what surprises people when you go against the Rattlers. You're always respecting the speed, but you're leaving there impressed with their strength. Important for Prairie View to start winning first down. They've got to limit.
Musa back to pass, has a man. Marcus Riley easily into the end zone. Touchdown, Rattlers. 32-yard strike to Marcus Riley. The impact transfer of the year is what you called him, Jay.
Absolutely, continuing to do it. Clean pocket for Musa. Riley, the speedster, gets behind the secondary, and Florida A&M takes advantage with another explosive play versus Prairie View A&M.
Marcus Riley had a 60-yard reception earlier. That one, 32 yards for the score. Cameron Gillis on to attempt the extra point, and just like that, a swing back from FAMU. The question mark about Jeremy Musa's accuracy not in question here. Right on target to Marcus Riley for the score.
That penalty is declined. Next one is good.
Between App State and Troy.
Let's take a look at how Florida A&M was able to get that touchdown to increase their lead to 14 points. You see number 33 there, left side of your screen. That's the free safety. Nothing gets behind him. But as we roll the play, you'll see him take a peek in the backfield, coming up run, and then he's in the chase position. By then, it's too late. Marcus Riley, the speedster, was well behind him.
Here on the return, and Prairie View will start just near their own 20-yard line. Well, Marcus Riley, who returns to the capital city, this is what he has done in this ball game. Played his high school ball at Rickards, went on, thought he was going to play at Louisville, transferred over to Bethune-Cookman, and Marcus Riley, you see the impact that he has made in this game today and all season long, really, for the Rattlers.
Hey, that's why he would be my transfer portal impact player of the year at HBCU football, a true difference maker for Florida A&M.
Ahmad Antoine, after that touchdown run on the last possession, is brought down by Deco Wilson, the free safety. 4-yard pickup there for the Panthers.
And curious to when defensive coordinator Ryan Smith is going to load the box and say, you know what, I want to see if Herring can pass, if he can complete a throw. Right now, they're still respecting him. You see the two safeties high, 4 defensive linemen.
The carry on 2nd and 5. And a short gain there for Antoine. We had the question mark of where was Trayvon Connolly. And there he is on the sideline in a yellow poncho. So his night is done. For more on that, let's send it down to Larisha.
Yeah, Tiffany, not so good news. Trayvon Connolly, he is doubtful to return, dealing with an upper right extremity injury.
All right, thanks so much. Meanwhile, his teammate Jalen Cooper currently down on the field, one of the big O linemen for the Panthers.
Yeah, this might be part of the stuff I'm worried about. I mean, they didn't get proper warm-up time. You're standing around for a while. You're getting stiff and not loose. Let's hope it's nothing serious, but you're going to have to tough it out in this game. You really have to tough it out. And as a player, you tell yourself, hey, they had to play in this stuff too. They had to wait in their locker room as well. But it's always a little bit tougher for the visiting team because you're in the visitor's locker room, which is normally not the most comfortable place in the stadium.
And you're also on the road with now what is the longest active winning streak in FCS football, with Montana State going down earlier to North Dakota State. So Florida A&M has won 19 straight here at Bragg Memorial Stadium. Obviously, you've got to contend not only with the football team, but the marching 100 in the stands as well. We saw a great halftime performance from both the 100 and the marching storm of Prairie View.
Yes, we did. That 100, that's a big band, though.
Yeah,
that's a big band. But Prairie View came in here and held their own. And the Storm just now making their way back into the stadium, trying to help their team pull off an upset.
Huge third down here. Chris Herron trying to find some room. Does so. Tackled by James Ash, but not before he picks up the first down. Gain of 9.
And I'm going to tell you, Florida A&M defensively, right now, they're just hard-headed. They're just hard-headed. They could bring somebody else down in the box and stop some of these runs, but they just know their defensive line and their front 6. You see that? They just got 6 guys close to the line of scrimmage. They believe they're good enough to stop the run. So they're not bringing anybody in there, that 7th guy.
The handoff to Connor Wisham, and that's Ash and Anthony Dunn Jr. Tackle for a loss. Remember, one of the best defenses, 2nd in the nation, and tackle for a loss. And a guy that we talked about earlier, in Anthony Dunn Jr., and how he comes off the edge for this group.
Yeah. 8 sacks on the season and disruptive behind the line of scrimmage.
Less than 2.5 to go in the third quarter. on second down. Heron looking for some room, scrambling. There's Dunn. Disruptive he is, as his ears were burning.
Defensive linemen love getting those sacks, and I'm going to give that sack to the whole defensive line. Dunn was a beneficiary of it, but look at all the orange jerseys that he has to run from. The swim move there, great penetration by number 6, Say. Then you've got a missed tackle there from a linebacker, Cheney, and then Dunn able to keep following the football and get credit for the sack.
So adding to that total, now 9 sacks. Big third down for Prairie View. Can they convert here to keep the drive going? Play clock winding down as well. And they're going to get whistled for a delay of game unless they're able to take a timeout in enough time, and they were able to do so.
The first of the half.
We're checking out the Marching 100, the incomparable Marching 100, as some would say, like Joe Bullard, the announcer. I did that just for you, Jay Walker, as we see who's bringing the flavor, brought to you by McDonald's. Under the direction of Dr. Shelby Chipman. And now, here on 3rd and 11, Prairie View. Obvious passing situation, escaping Dunn, gets it away and nearly intercepted by Lovey Jenkins. And that forces a 4th down.
And you have a feeling this is what the passing game is going to look like for Prairie View for the rest of this game. Drop back, see if you can find somebody wide open, or just scramble, create, and people you get open. And you'll see here, doing a good job of buying time there, looking for a running lane, but it's not there. Good control pass rush. And the last second trying to find somebody, but fortunate that Lovey Jenkins didn't intercept that pass.
Shareed watches this one bounce. And Jasso with a great punt, as special teams coming into play here, something that Bubba McDowell pointed out earlier this week of, hey, what's been a difference maker in their 3-game winning streak? And the Rattler offense will get ready to trot back onto the field as head coach Willie Simmons, the SWAC Coach of the Year, and they racked up in honors on the field as well. Jeremy Moose, the Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, linebacker Isaiah Major for the Rattlers. On the handoff to Marcus Riley, and Riley, good scamper there on 1st down. You've had several times to see Florida A&M this season. We got a chance to call them at the start of the year, kind of getting over that hump against Jackson State in the Orange Blossom Classic. Their only loss this season against South Florida since then, have won 9 straight. What has impressed you about the way this Rattler offense has played this season?
Very balanced offense. You know, Musa, for the most part, he may miss some throws, but he goes the right place with the football, so he does not throw a lot of interception. And I think the offensive line has gotten better. They've realized we got to do a better job protecting. If we give Musa a clean pocket, he's like an assassin. So you don't see them getting beat, giving up a lot of sacks.
Jennings hauling off with a big run here. Terrell Jennings, who is playing inspired football. We heard it from Larisha earlier in the game. His aunt passed earlier this week, missing her service to play in this SWAC championship game, and he's continuing to add to his rushing total, 80 yards on the ground tonight, as that brings us to the end of the third quarter in this first ever SWAC championship here from Tallahassee, Florida. And the Rattlers 15 minutes away from potentially punching their ticket to the Cricket Celebration Bowl. Turn on ESPN.
That right there is the O'Brien Award. Is it a preview for the Heisman Trophy this year?
I think so, absolutely.
No.
And the question is, did Michael Penix Jr. show you enough, Jay, to outpace Jaden Daniels? Because
two-horse race. I think it's a two-horse race now, too. I think Bo Nix dropped a little bit with the loss there. But that kid Daniels is special.
Yeah, he's been putting up some special numbers.
But Penix he's legit, too. Yeah. He's legit, and he's winning. He doesn't have the losses that Daniels has on his record, so.
Pac-12 champion Washington Huskies, and there Jeremy Musa delivers it, and it's going to be incomplete. Did they say he comes up with it?
Oh, they need to talk about that. They're going to say he had the catch, because I definitely saw the ball pop up and then catch it again. Surprise.
Jeremiah Pruitt, the H-back, comes up with it. If you're Florida A&M, again, you don't want them to potentially review this. You want to get the ball hiked as quickly as possible.
And he might have established possession in the field of play cleanly. There, the hit. Take a look at that. Yeah. I thought he might have made the catch and established he was in play with a fair catch inbound and then got hit when he was out of bounds. But when you replayed it, looked like maybe he didn't catch it in time.
So they're going to have a few looks at this, as the ruling on the field was a catch. If it stands, it would be a 15-yard completion. But it'll have to be talked over a little bit longer. And while we have this break, we talked about Florida A&M racking up in the SWAC-accolades, if you will. How about Javon Robinson, the freshman of the year out of Grambling State, and Jace Wilson coming over for the Texas Southern group, the newcomer of the year.
And Wilson did a really good job there, because nobody expected him to play. He's a quarterback there, rushed into duty when Andrew Body, who was one of the better players for Texas Southern, elected to redshirt this season. So hats off to him, that freshman, that newcomer. He's going to be a good one down the road.
And of course, the job that Willie Simmons has done this season has been remarkable. And you think about it, he's going against his former team. Remember, he used to be on the other sideline at Prairie View A&M before he came over here.
And I think they may say he established possession in the field of play. You can bobble the ball once you're out of bounds. He didn't leave his feet. But when you talk about Willie Simmons, he's a national coach of the year candidate. Not just the SWAC coach of the year or HBCU coach of the year. I'm pretty sure he'll walk away with that. But I think he's going to be a legitimate candidate for the Eddie Robinson Award, which is given away to the national coach of the year for the job he's done with Florida A&M.
We'll just look at what his team has accomplished this season. We talked about
review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. First down.
You hear the ruling there, so it does go down as a completion to Pruitt. But the winning streaks, the record, the first 10-win season since 1999, and many had questions. They had been on the doorstep, Florida A&M, for the last few seasons and came up short. However, they feel like this could be their breakthrough year, and thus far, they've lived up to the billing.
Yeah, and y'all don't want to hear this, and close your ears, Tiffany. With that much success comes, where's his next stop going to be? How long will they be able to keep him here in Tallahassee? They get the home field advantage because he's a Florida boy. He's from down here. But that coaching, he's hot. He's a real hot commodity right now.
Jennings on the carry, giving chase, but they can't get to him. Terrell Jennings into the end zone. Jennings, second score of the game. 33 yards out.
What was that little dance? A little wiggle with the lineman. I like that. But another missed tackle again. And, the flaws in Prairie View A&M's defense are starting to show here in the second half. It's a big hole, but you have to make that tackle. Right there, you've got to bring him down. And the rest is a foot race, and you see the speed by the big fella Jennings has played himself a pretty good football game.
And what we say earlier, he had taken control of that running back room as of late. You talked about the speed, size, power. We showed you could bounce it outside and take it to the house. The extra point is good from Cameron Gillis.
When your time to shine, your number's called, make the most of your opportunity. And Jennings telling you he's got size, power, and oh yeah, he's got the speed to be a home run hitter. Rattlers that much closer to sealing this deal.
Chip on ESPN2 is presented by McDonald's.
The Tallahassee Automotive Museum, located about 9 miles from Bragg Stadium. The museum features over 160 automobiles and plenty of other memorabilia.
Are you? How come you haven't taken me there?
Oh, I'm sorry, partner.
I've got a 1967 Mustang. I love car museums. And you knew that place was
share a
there?
love of cars. Yes.
Oh, see.
You're too busy at the moon, man.
There's definitely an eye in Tiffany.
Don't even do that. Don't even be that way, Jay. We'll see if the Rattlers, 13 minutes and 29 seconds for maybe tuning up their automobiles to head to Atlanta for the Cricket Celebration Bowl. But Prairie View A&M still has time. Can they get a big return here from Marquise Doucette? No. Down inside his own 10. Good special teams play by Robert Glanton. And Doucette, the returner there, is down on the field and in obvious pain. So we've already seen a couple of guys go down, most notably Trayzon Connolly, the quarterback from Prairie View A&M, who is out for the night. And still down in a lot of pain. Perhaps he comes down awkwardly. The better news is that he is walking off under his own power. A number of injuries, as we mentioned, as we send it down to Larisha.
Yeah, Tiffany, they've had a number of injuries, including one that we saw earlier in the third. Jalen Cooper, the lineman, he went down, and he is not set to return to this game.
All right, thanks so much. I mean, when you think about this Prairie View O-line, their starters are not in the same position as when they began this football game. And a backup quarterback in, the wide receiver moved over, and they've been keeping it on the ground. Connor Wisham there on a carry, a gain of 3.
And still allowing the defensive line and the linebacker to control the running game. They've got 4 guys high. Just 6 people in the box, and they are still stopping the run. And that's a luxury you have, but you can afford to do that. So you do it, protect the secondary. That just means they're not trying to give up any big plays. They'll allow Prairie View to gain a couple yards here or there. A very bold statement by Florida A&M's defense saying we can stop your run without bringing a guy into the box, even when you have a running quarterback in the game.
The cutback from Caleb Johnson, and Johnson is stopped but not before picking up the first down. You have to check this off as a win for Prairie View, because the first time they came into Bragg back on October 28, the Rattler defense held them to less than 100 yards rushing. Here tonight, they've amassed 131 yards on the ground.
And if they rip off a couple more runs like that, then you will see the safety come down into the box to give some help. But all Cornswich credit, they're spreading out this defense pretty good. I mean, though, by their formation, don't have the tight end out there. They've got threat of 4 wide receivers, 2 guys in the backfield that can run.
Heron looking, decides to take off and run, and you see a flag flying out in the midst of that play.
So that should be a flag. They've done rubbed him off over on that sideline there. And we saw things getting chippy earlier. And this will be a penalty during the action that'll probably go against Prairie View for holding. But when you start letting guys get away with pushing people afterwards. Looks like a couple guys holding that jersey there.
Offense, number 60. 10-yard penalty. First down.
So we know about the hold, but look at this. That's one push. And what is that? That is 6 yards deep, and then he had to jump over a bench. I'm flagging that right away. You can't do that. That's unnecessary. You know, we used to call it a cheap shot back in the day, and I think if you keep letting players get away with that, then all of a sudden they're going to start doing it, and then we're going to start getting like we were in the first half. In the first half, every other play almost a fight.
Right. 1st and 20. Feeling the pressure and somehow escaping to make positive yards out of that play. Pick up a 4.
This is looking like, and no disrespect meant to offensive coordinator Mark Frederick, but he's playing the hand he was dealt. I mean, he's like, hey, just drop back, go try and make a play. Receivers, you get there. I don't know how much of the defense that Herron is reading, but you can tell his athleticism is a little bit of a problem for this Florida A&M defense. He's got some wheels, he can move. And when you got this type of offense, what they're doing, scramble drill type offense, you can hit them for a big play.
Wisham in the backfield to the left, and Herron keeps it, giving chase, but they can't catch up to Chris Herron. Chris Herron taking off down that sideline. Ball is popped loose, but out of bounds. And an outstanding run there from Herron.
He's got some pep in the step. I mean, you know, like we say, he's got wheels, and he is using those wheels, getting to the outside and doing a good job calling his own number. They collapse on the running back, tucks it, nice vision. Needs to secure that football a little bit more. It was a good decision and a big play for Prairie View A&M.
Yeah, one of the most explosive plays of the night for the Panther offense. A pickup of 40 yards into Rattler territory. Aaron, once again, you talked about that athleticism. Isaiah Major, the defensive leader, coming up to make the tackle from behind.
You see that pump fake? I mean, I actually believe he was going to throw the ball. But we know he wants to run first, but does a good job of getting the defensive lineman in the air. And look at this, faking a 3-step drop here. Well, I'm going to throw this. Whoop, I'm gone. He was able to react quick enough after Allen Smith was airborne. He decided to take off and pick up 7 yards.
So Herron helping to make this Prairie View offense move down the field. Able to get it off. The pass is intercepted. Dico Wilson coming up with the big third of the game for the Rattlers. So just as Prairie View looked to be gaining some momentum, it's given right back to the Rattlers. The defense, the dark cloud defense, looming large.
You know, a little bit of pressure on the pocket. And Aaron, they kind of caught on to him. You're just trying to run around, but he must have seen something, but find someplace else to go with the football. Nobody around. That enabled Wilson with the interception.
His second pick of the season, and you see him getting it right at the goal line in the return to help bring out some breathing room for the Rattler offense. Remember, FAMU scored on their opening drive of the game after a Javen Morgan interception, and then it was punched in by Jeremy Musa to start off this game. The toss over to Wilhoit, Leland Wilhoit, a new face in the backfield for the Rattlers. And among all of the running backs, they say Leland Wilhoit is the most dynamic. He's fast, he's elusive, but when you think about what Terrell Jennings and what he's done today, a couple of scores over the century mark, and then Marcus Riley, big play dude on the outside for Florida A&M.
And that's what you need. In a championship game, You know, your playmakers have to make plays, and Marcus Riley was dominant from the very beginning of this game, but Jennings started picking up momentum and ripping off some big runs. And let's not forget his highlight reel run that he had was negated by a holding penalty. I think today Jennings showed that he was best football player on the field.
Career high for him tonight on the ground with 113 yards. And Ashton Grable getting some help. Big left tackle out of Gordon, Georgia. And they cycle through running backs again, this time Kelvin Dean. Sharing the backfield with Musa. High snap handled by Musa. Pulls it down, completes to Kamari Young, the tight end. And Young picks up the first down.
Another run pass option, run to perfection by Florida A&M. That's one where Musa he can give the ball to the running back, or he can pull it and hit the tight end in the flat if he sees something that he likes. And I thought he should have handed the ball off, but with the timing was off, he wanted to keep it. Outside leverage by Young. First down, Florida A&M.
Under 7 minutes to go in this SWAC championship game. The winner of this one will move on to face Howard University in the Cricket Celebration Bowl in Atlanta. Will Hoyt getting to the outside, shedding a couple of tacklers, and then brought down by Keyshawn Johnson.
Be an interesting matchup, too. I mean, Howard and Florida A&M, longtime rivals when Florida A&M was in the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference. FAMU made the switch. Seems like they're on their way to Atlanta. And I'll say this for the matchup. We've seen Howard can play with anybody. They can play with some of the better teams. They almost beat Northwestern this season. They almost beat an Eastern Michigan squad. And they can also get beat by somebody, too. So that matchup will be there. And I know Florida A&M will be going into that game with something to prove, not only to win the national championship, but the SWAC. They have something to prove. The SWAC wants to prove that they can win in Atlanta.
As that play is whistled dead, and Jay, I want to elaborate on that point in just a moment after we hear from Bobby Wright.
False start. Offense, number 81. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Well, you think all of the hype and anticipation around Jackson State, who was led by Coach Prime Deion Sanders during that time, and they were going in as the favorite, but got stopped in 2021 by Buddy Pugh's South Carolina State Bulldogs, and then last year the reigning HBCU national champion North Carolina Central. Only one time has the SWAC won, and that was back in 2016, Grambling State.
And Devontae Kincaid and Martez Carter and those guys. Broderick Fobbs was the head coach.
You know, that was part of the conversation that we had with Willie Simmons. We saw Rudy Hubbard earlier winning the 1978 national championship. The first year they did a national championship in what was 1AA, now FCS. And Coach Simmons, you know, talked about the legacy that was established by Jake Gaither, but also mentioned guys like Broderick Fobbs going back to their alma mater, places where they want to be. And one of the questions was, you know, could this program see sustained success and have a leader like a Jake Gaither and Eddie Robinson in company? For more on that, let's send it down to Larisha.
Yeah, Tiffany, like you said, when we were talking to Coach Willie Simmons, he told us that he told his guys not to be surprised, you know, by some of the success that they are seeing. But, you know, throughout the season and at the beginning, they listed out their goals and their aspirations for what they wanted to accomplish. And one of those goals is sustained success after having such a great season. He said, we beat our rivals. We won our division. We're trying to secure a spot in the Celebration Bowl. But ultimately, we want to have that sustainability. We don't want to be a one-hit wonder.
Yeah, you're right about that. Couple of spin moves from Leland Will Hoyt. Jay, your thoughts on it?
Well, you know, the college football landscape has changed, and so we saw how quickly. I mean, we mentioned Broderick Fobbs. I mean, he wins the Celebration Bowl. Then, what, 3 years later, they act like he forgot how to coach and they fire him. He was a rising star. So at that point, you have to start making lifetime decisions for yourself and your welfare. But I think of all the guys I've seen that could be a next Jake Gaither, a Rod Broadway type guy, an Eddie Robinson guy, it's Willie Simmons. I told him that. This area likes him enough. He's familiar with them. He grew up around them. If they had a couple bad years, they'd forgive him. They wouldn't try to make a move on him. So that's why I think he could be one of those guys that can stay at one place for a long time. Right now, he's hot. They love him in Tallahassee, so that's all he wants to worry about right now.
Florida A&M with a 3-score lead as we welcome you back to Dr. Pepper Championship Week here from Tallahassee.
And as we celebrate those that survive cancer of some sort, Melanie Nix, lifelong friend of ours, helped get my son in lacrosse and all that. Melanie survived. We're proud of you, Melanie, and we still need more money for cancer research. That is what it's all about. Support our organization, V.org, and donate.
It's V Week at ESPN when we partner with the V Foundation to highlight the urgent need for cancer research. And this is game-changing research, folks, that helps save lives, and you can join the fight against cancer visiting v.org/donate. 100% goes directly to cancer research, and I'll take this time to also think of some family members of mine, Carmen Jones and Mona, who breast cancer survivors, currently little cousin, 7-year-old, fighting pediatric cancer, Tamron Lee. So thinking with so many, your dollars really do make a difference.
And it's one of those things where you don't realize how many people would touch. I never forget when my daughter Jasmine was like in the 5th grade. In the 5th grade, she's still learning about life, and then she had a classmate become affected with cancer, and they said, we need to do something about this, and who are you going to start playing for and praying for? And she said, well, Auntie Melanie. And I didn't even know that she realized that Auntie Melanie had gone through it, and she had put it on her post. So that's why it affects all of us in so many ways, and some of them are known, and you don't know how it'll happen. So please help.
Well, Rattler Nation from all across the country looking in and anxious for these final 2 minutes to tick off the clock so that they can make their preparations to head to Atlanta.
Tiffany, you know, say it one time, you know your school. Those folks made them reservations at halftime. At halftime. And many of them made it a week ago.
Leland Wilhoit hurdling a defender. We saw that earlier in this game with Terrell Jennings. This time as Leland Wilhoit, an 18-yard pickup, but a flag back near the 31-yard line.
We got to have some style points down. Whose hurdle was better? Who did it better? Jennings or?
I'm going to give it to Terrell Jennings.
Yeah, he cleared the guy.
Yeah, he cleared. His leaping ability at 225 was quite impressive. You got to shave off about 30 pounds or so.
During the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, defense, number 33. This is half the distance to the goal, first down. This is number 33's first unsportsmanlike.
So in terms of, you talked about it, Jay, the Rattlers will be deep in the A, and it's going to set up a great matchup between Howard University, the MEAC champions, and Florida A&M out of the Southwestern Athletic Conference. You just think December 15th, you've got the Band of the Year competition that will take place. That's another great draw, and then the Cricket Celebration Bowl will be noon
and
on ABC.
The Howard parties start on Wednesday. This so you know. The Howard parties are starting on Wednesday.
Gonna love this great synergy, and be really interesting to see how both fan bases show up. Well, just a reminder, coming up on ESPN3 after the game, we'll have the SWAC Championship presented by McDonald's post-game celebration, including the trophy presentation. And the fans who were dedicated, brought their rain gear, braved a total of about almost 2 hours of delays from the start of this game, which was pushed back, and then, of course, that 1+ hour delay during the game. I think Willie Simmons just got a Gatorade bath on the sideline, and well-deserved. A perfect season in the SWAC. And just a reminder, the game still has time on the clock, so you see the celebration by some of the Rattler players. They've got to get back on the sideline as we let you know that Shop with Google is a proud sponsor of ESPN College Football. So now you can get your FAMU gear or your Howard Bison gear, whatever you got to get, and find your way to Atlanta for the Cricket Celebration Bowl. They say they brag different here at Florida A&M. And the FAMU Rattlers are champions of the Southwestern Athletic Conference for the first time. They're headed to the A, baby.
Congratulations, Rattlers. Job well done. And just the emotion you see from Coach Simmons. This meant a lot to him. This meant a lot to Florida A&M after being so close. But they'll tell you, they still got one to go in Atlanta. What a great situation it's going to be in Atlanta for the Cricket Celebration Bowl.
Well, Jeremy Musa helped this Rattler offense put up 35 points, an excellent rushing attack overall, 229 yards picked up on the ground, as LaRisha Harris is standing by with Coach Simmons.
Coach, SWAC champions, 20th consecutive win here at home. How are you feeling?
It's a wild game. It's one of the wildest games I've ever been a part of. 4 lightning delays, sitting in the locker room forever, just trying to get back on the field as quickly as possible. But again, shout out to the SWAC medical staff for keeping everybody safe. It was a great game, great atmosphere. So proud of these guys. I mean, I can't say enough about the journey. And many people remember how the season started with something that was viewed as a negative for the program. Culminating in the SWAC championship is truly special. So proud of the guys, proud of Rattler Nation for showing out tonight.
What did you learn about your team tonight?
Well, just, this is a resilient group of guys. We haven't been perfect all season, but we played good football when it mattered. And I think we like adversity. Sometimes I think we play best when we face adversity, but great leadership, proud of guys like Jeremy Musa, Isaiah Major, Stanley Mentor, just a group of guys that have bled, sweated, and cried for this program. And, to finally host the SWAC championship here on Ken Riley Field is indescribable.
Congratulations, Coach. Enjoy it.
Thank you.
In the words of Jake Gaither, the blood, sweat, and tears for this FAMU football program has resulted in the 2023 SWAC Championship Trophy. Willie Simmons being congratulated by his wife, Shay Simmons, a 4th-generation Rattler. He wanted this opportunity after coming over from Prairie View. Said this was a sleeping giant. Built this program on the 7 F's: faith, fundamentals, fast, fight, finish. They had fun today, and the FAMU will celebrate all the way to Atlanta. The final from Tallahassee, 35-14. Florida A&M extends their winning streak to now 10 in a row to move to 11-1 overall. Boy, it was a crazy game indeed, but we thank you so much for watching. For LaRisha Harris, Jay Walker, and the rest of our crew, we say so long from Tallahassee, Florida, home of the SWAC champion FAMU Rattlers. We out. Tallahassee, 35-14. Florida A&M extends their winning streak to now 10 in a row to move to 11-1 overall. Boy, it was a crazy game indeed, but we thank you so much for watching. For LaRisha Harris, Jay Walker, and the rest of our crew, we say so long from Tallahassee, Florida, home of the SWAC champion FAMU Rattlers. We out.
Nope. It's gonna be all clear. I mean, now if I were playing anybody,
all your pieces and parts, right?
Chris, have a wonderful trip back to
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I will not be with you all in Atlanta, but please enjoy.
Okay.
I will be in New Mexico.
Ooh, now that sounds fun. Is that the New Mexico Bowl?
Yeah, New Mexico Bowl.
If I had $1 for every time I did that bowl, you know the nice thing about that game is that there's a 5 p.m. out of Albuquerque. It's like the last chance flight.
Yeah.
I love that flight.
I think for New Mexico State, Wyoming is
Now announcing
yeah,
the national outstanding player for
which would be
today's game.
good on both sides. I did Wyoming is having their one.
Stephen Lewis, assistant manager, multicultural marketing.
Your defensive MVP is number 2, Javen Morgan. And now, the General Motors Most Outstanding Offensive Player of today's game, presented by Dr. Charles McClelland. Number 23, Terrell Jennings. And now, presenting the 2023 Pepsi SWAC Football Championship Trophy, along with Kent Montgomery, from our title sponsor, Pepsi, to the Rattlers of Florida A&M University. On behalf of the SWAC Commissioner, Dr. Charles McClelland, and the Southwestern Athletic Conference's Council of Presidents and Chancellors, we congratulate head coach Willie Simmons and the Rattlers of Florida A&M on a wonderful season.
John Grant, Executive Director of the Celebration Bowl, congratulates Florida A&M on an outstanding season and for winning the 2023 Pepsi SWAC Football Championship presented by General Motors. On behalf of ESPN Events, he is here to present the official invitation to Florida A&M to represent the Southwestern Athletic Conference at the 2023 Cricket Celebration Bowl on Saturday, December 16th in Atlanta. Thank you for attending the 2023 Pepsi Southwestern Athletic Conference Football Championship presented by GM. The SWAC appreciates your support of intercollegiate athletics and encourages you to be a part of all conference championships by attending events in your area throughout the year.